Hey guys, this is Jason Creel. You're watching The Lawn Care Life. I've been out working in the yard, and today I want to talk to you about several things you can do to help keep weeds out of the flower beds. A lot of times when I'm out doing yards for people in my business, I do weed control and fertilization. The customer will say, hey, well, are you spraying just the grass, or are you doing the flower beds also? And I can talk to them about there are products we can use in the flower beds. A lot of the products we use on the lawn are actually not legally allowed in the flower beds. Now there's maybe some exceptions to that, but it's usually a separate program for the flower bed. So I want to talk to you about some of the things you can do to keep your flower beds looking good. We're going to talk about chemical you can use. We're going to talk about ways to do it without chemicals. So let's get started right now talking about how to keep the weeds out of your flower beds. Today's video is sponsored by Yardbook. Yardbook is the software that I use to run my lawn care business. My company is called Alabama Lawn Pros, and it is powered by Yardbook. Check it out at yardbook.com. There is a link in the description. Now I want to also show you, we've been, some of you follow the channel, we've been remodeling our house, and I've actually redid our landscaping. It's not maybe 100% done, but I want to show you the landscaping, and we'll talk to you about how we can keep the weeds out, because I want it to not look good today when I'm out here spreading mulch, but I want it to look good on into the future. Okay, so, you know, it's been a huge project on our yard. You see here, new driveway, and we got dirt where we graded out around the driveway and everything. So, you know, overall the yard looks pretty decent, except where you get all to the dirt. And the problem is, in that big brown spot there is where the septic tank went. So problem is, I'm filming this video in September, and I'm afraid my Bermuda grass is not going to fill in time. So I may have to overseed with ryegrass this winter just to keep from having a big mud hole. But while we were redoing a lot of the house, some of my landscaping is left over from what I had before, and some of it is new. Got a hydrangea, got these I forget what you actually call those yellow plants. Somebody could probably help me out there. It may come to me shortly. Some knockout roses that are badly in need of trim. Got my arborvitae, lantana, loropetalums, one big grass thing, more loropetalums. What are these called? I forget what you call these things. Distilium. I hope I said that right. Got a few of those. Gardenia, Mexican petunia, lantana that's trying to take over the world, limelight hydrangeas, more gardenias. So what I did learn is reading about it, sometimes you want to put your featured plant in the front. I'm not a landscaper necessarily, but I read a little bit. Put your featured plant in front, and then plant 3 smaller plants around it, actually one behind it and 2 to the side. So you see I've done that now. In this situation, maybe it wasn't, I didn't execute exactly right, because I'm afraid that limelight hydrangea is going to end up blocking some of those gardenias. That's some lantana. These are some really sad azaleas. I've got some better looking ones I'm going to probably replace it with. This is where my water and gas line is, so I had to leave it a little bit vacant. Got a little gem magnolia, loropetalums, more azaleas. Got a camellia bush. I can't think of it. Rhododendron, I think, azaleas, gardenia, and tea olive, and another rhododendron. So anyway, that's basically what it looks like. Now let's let you see it from a distance. Again, picture this being all lush green grass. This was just graded out yesterday, so obviously the grass is not filled in yet, and it may actually be next year, but again, I may overseed with ryegrass. But you know, if next year it all looks like the green part out here, and contrasting with the brown mulch, I think it'll look great. All right, so there's the landscape. You know, I think it's going to look good with the up against the White House. And you can see that today I've been out here spreading mulch. I actually got 6 yards of mulch. And just a tip, many of you probably know this, but it's often way cheaper to buy it in bulk than buying it by the bag at the big box store. So I've got a local guy. It's $30 a yard. He told me if I'd buy 6 yards, he would deliver it for free. So I paid $180, and I got 6 yards of mulch delivered. Now, it won't take 6 yards every time, but this was literally bare dirt. So I was trying to put a nice thick layer on there to get started. Now, if I do this once or twice a year, I won't need 6 yards just to top it off. So what can I do to keep this looking nice? Well, for one, And again, I talk to a lot of customers, and sometimes they're complaining about weeds in their flower bed, and they literally have nothing there to keep the weeds out. It looks like this. It's just bare dirt, and they're wondering why they're getting weeds. So, I mean, for one, just putting nice, thick mulch or pine straw down will make a huge difference in the amount of weeds you have. Now, is that a perfect solution? Absolutely not. But this layer of mulch, and again, putting it thick, is going to help out greatly. Another thing you can do, and I chose not to do this in this situation, I've done it some in the past, but you can buy landscape fabric. And this is 4 feet wide. It oftentimes comes 3 foot wide, 4 feet wide. And you might want to do that, and you find out, like for instance, let me show you over here in a situation where this, I could have put that out here and then notched around my plants if I want to, or put the fabric down first and then cut out cut an X shape in the fabric to be able to put my plants down. In certain situations like this where there's really nothing planted because of a gas and water line, I could have just laid out that fabric, and it would have made a big difference as far as keeping weeds out. So the landscape fabric is one thing you can do. Obviously you want to do that before you put the mulch down. So what about using herbicides to help keep the weeds out? I'm going to talk to you about some of the choices that you can use, the products you can use. I'm going to show you what I'm using, the exact product that I'm using to keep the weeds out of my flower beds. All right, there's a few options you can use. Now if you want to go the granular route, you can use a couple products. One's called Snapshot, another's called Freehand. And the advantage of those is you can put it in some kind of little chest spreader, or however you want to spread it, and you can put it directly over the top of the plants. Now, you probably not want to put it where you plant annual plants, like if I was going to plant these little annual flowers here, or if I was going to put some pansies here, then you want to check the label on that, but I'm thinking it's not going to be a good idea to put that where you're going to put the annuals. But you can literally spread it right over the top of these shrubs, and so you're getting some protection right down close to the plant. The downside to using a granular product like that, and if you don't want to use those, you can go to the big box store and maybe get some Preen. Same concept, a granular pre-emergent. But the downside to using a granular product is it's a pre-emergent, but it's not doing anything to kill the weeds that are already there. So you still have to come back with a post-emergent or a non-selective herbicide, something that just a weed killer, and the most popular one may be coming off the market soon, but something that just kills weeds, okay? Straight up weed killer, and you still have to spray the existing weeds. So that granular product can help you prevent future weeds, but it's not going to kill your existing weeds. So from a business standpoint, I felt like I was having to do 2 steps. I was having to spread the granular product and then go back and spray a non-selective herbicide to kill the weeds. So what I did, in the switch that I made, I started using this product here. It's called Sureguard, and I mix it with a non-selective herbicide weed killer product. So I put those two together, and this Sureguard might be a little pricey. I'm not 100% sure on the price. If it comes in a smaller container, I'm gonna throw out $200 for this jug. It may be, I know some people fell off the floor when they heard that. It's 64 ounces, and again, I'm not sure on the price, but it may come in smaller containers. But the point being, when you mix it, it's only a 1/4 of an ounce per gallon of water in a spray tank, or per 1,000 square feet. So if I'm putting it in a 4-gallon backpack sprayer, I literally put 1 ounce. So I could fill my 4-gallon backpack sprayer up 64 times with this. Well, from a business standpoint, I can do a lot of spraying with a 4-gallon backpack sprayer filled up 64 times. So it's actually not that expensive when you crunch the numbers and go at it from that standpoint. And again, I'm able to mix it with the non-selective, so it's not only killing the existing weeds, that Sureguard can help prevent new weeds from coming back for 4 to 6 months. Now you're going to want to top your mulch off, or your pine straw. I probably best would be to do it twice a year, but even if you did it once a year, that would make a huge difference. But let me show you one area too. I think this is what gets neglected sometimes when you're trying to keep weeds out of your flower bed, or grass in this situation, and I want to show you what I'm talking about. See this Bermuda grass here? It grows aggressively. And if I didn't do anything, sometimes I'll see, and a customer will have it nice and clean, in the beds, but they're neglecting this, either by not putting a border, which is okay to not use a border, and sometimes you even have a border, but with this grass type, Bermuda is going to very aggressive trying to spread into this mulch. So what do you have to do? Well, in this situation, you want to, what we normally do, I haven't done a good job on it with this, but is to flip your string trimmer upside down and to maintain this edge with a string trimmer. Some of it may still creep in there and you can spray that to kill it, but if I will maintain this edge, not only will it just make it look great, but it will keep this Bermuda grass from spreading, because spraying Sureguard right here is not going to keep this from spreading over there. It might keep a weed from popping up right here, but if your grass starts growing into your bed and just taking over the world, then it doesn't matter if you're using those other products, it's still going to look terrible. So there's a little bit of effort involved with maintaining this edge. Again, I'm showing you where I put mulch out today, so next time I cut the grass, I need to come in here and define this edge and make a nice crisp edge and then try to maintain it every time I mow the lawn. So anyway, that's the strategies I use. Okay, you don't have to take them all, but keeping your weeds out of your beds can be difficult. Sometimes when the weeds get really close to the actual plant, and this is what's difficult about using some of these products, sometimes you have to manually pull them, because you can't spray Sureguard and products like that, you know, your non-selective herbicide that I'm talking about mixing with, you can't spray that on the actual plant. Okay, so if there's a weed growing really, really close, you may have to pull that by hand, and that's just part of it. Appreciate you watching the video. If you're in the lawn care business, thinking about starting one, you can go over to lawncarelife.com. There's tons of information over there, including video courses. I teach people how to start a weed control and fertilization business, how to start a mowing business, how to start a mosquito spraying business. We got lawn care logos. We got all kind of documents for increasing your price, to communicating with your customers, to telling you programs of what to spray on your yard. It's all available at lawncarelife.com. Check it out. If you haven't done so, subscribe to the channel. I think I'm getting close to 800 videos on the channel. So I've been doing lawn care videos for almost 10 years on YouTube, maybe over 10 years, I don't know. But I've been on here for a while and I plan to keep going. So appreciate you watching. We will talk to you later. Bye.